Joe Biden predicts some cooperation between Democrats and Mitch McConnell in a post-Trump era.
Yeah. We're back with Roger Fizz, Democratic strategist, and former Congressman Jack Kingston. All right, so new comments from Joe Biden. And this is the thing. It's so interesting because Biden and Pete and other moderates in the campaign want to portray Sanders and Warren and the more progressives as like wild-eyed and crazy. But then when you ask someone like Joe Biden how you're actually going to get something done, Roger, he goes into total fantasy land that Mitch McConnell is suddenly going to come to the table when you were there for 8 years with Barack Obama and all they did was they wouldn't even work with him to cut Social Security, which is like a multi-decade goal of the Republicans. So, anyway, yes. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Obama could have proposed a flat tax and they would have.
They would like, no. I mean, really, truly.
No, I mean, I say this somewhat kiddingly, but actually in a serious way as well. To run for president and frankly to be involved in politics at all in any form, you have to be an optimist. You have to believe, even if it's somewhat unrealistic, that things can get better and that possibly a new tone can get set and things like that. If you don't think that we can possibly work this stuff out, then you're probably in the wrong business. And I'll leave it to the congressman to echo that, but no one signs up to run for office to waste their time, right? I mean, so you got to go into this thinking.
The question is,
yeah, I was going to say the challenge is it's not that you should be an optimist. It's like you should have some ingenuity and figure out how to get something done.
Sure.
Regardless, and he seems, if his whole bank is on, I'm going to be able to work with him. I mean, look, why should Mitch McConnell work with him, right? I mean, it worked actually quite effectively under President Obama. The Republican Party decimated most of the Obama, whatever domestic agenda that they had. He had to pivot to executive action, and the Democratic Party got cleaned out from under him. So, I mean, Jack, why adjust course?
You know, I think adjusting the course is a general election strategy. I don't know why I brought it up now, but as we all know, Joe Biden doesn't necessarily time his comments and seems to get away with it. I will say this, though. The Senate is a club. It's one of the most elite clubs in the world. And he's a member of the club, and I think he would have the ability to sit down and get some things done in a way that Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, also members, would not be able to do.
But Obama was.
They're in the club. They're not in the cool crowd of the club.
Obama was a senator, and he couldn't get anything done.
Yeah, but he was. You're right. But he was a short-term member.
But the whole
institution.
The whole idea with Biden as vice president, though, was that he was a member of the club, that he knew these people, that he had the relationships. He'd be dispatched every now and again to Capitol Hill to try to wrangle votes. And there's just no sign that this is actually realistic. I think to Sagar's point, it's not about whether you're an optimist or not. I agree with you. Listen, we have to be optimists that we can come together, that we can do something, we can get things done for people, that we can pull ourselves out of this morass. But thinking that you're just going to sit down at the table with Mitch McConnell to get things done is, to me, fanciful. And I think, again, the distinction between he always and Nancy Pelosi and all these people paint progressives as wild-eyed and crazy and fantastical in their thinking. But what we've seen throughout history is that actually the only way that things really change is when you have public pressure, when you marshal the forces from the outside, when you force someone like Mitch McConnell who doesn't want to move, or people in your own party to move who don't want to move. That's the only way things have ever really gotten done and changed significantly.
What do you think, Roger?
I mean, I don't disagree with that, and I think all of them are part of a multi-pronged strategy. I think the former vice president can have a little bit of credibility on this because it's very difficult to prove a negative, right? But you could make the argument that things like, for example, maybe stimulus couldn't have gotten through, or any number of other things that actually did get through.
They had a super majority.
Yeah,
and they had control of the House.
Right. But I'm just saying, when we say nothing got through, and why is he thinking this completely unrealistic stuff, you could make a case that at least he cushioned some of the worst impulses of the Republicans.
Maybe.
So my point in that is that even if you can change the trajectory of the legislative process by 2 or 3%, in the bigger picture, that is actually a very real success. So I don't think he's completely off base, but I do think it's aspirational, which ultimately is what campaigns are. Yeah. Campaigns are aspirational.
But that's part of the issue for him. I mean, if I was running as a Republican and Chuck Schumer was I'd be like, my whole life goal is to destroy Chuck Schumer. That's it. Because I mean, there's no naivete to think these people are ever going to give you anything. They just don't.
Furthermore, I mean,
yeah.
as you said, primary voters don't care about this.
No.
I mean, they really don't care about electability. They worry about.
They want
purity.
blood.
They want blood and purity. But I want to point out, Ray LaHood, Republican, was Barack Obama's Secretary of Transportation. I'm blanking out on Senator Cohen's first name, but he was
Bill Cohen from Maine.
Bill Cohen,
right.
Republican,
SecDef,
President Clinton's Secretary of Defense.
Gates.
And then Norm Mineta wasn't he DOT under Bush? I'm blanking. Yes.
Yeah, and rolled over into Obama.
So some of that I think you can talk about, and it makes good government, but it's a November discussion. It's not now. However, again, Biden can get away with anything he wants in terms of rhetoric. So one day it'll catch him.
And look at how those bipartisan administrations just paved the way to an era of bipartisan conversations. It was amazing and magical.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Thanks,
Always
guys.
glad to have you
Appreciate
both.
it.
Thanks.
Tomorrow on Rising, we're going to dive into the nitty-gritty of the polling and what they mean for the debate qualifications with Politico's Zach Montalero. We're going to talk about Poll the People, so everybody stay excited.
Indeed, we're always excited here. The Atlantic Council's Barbara Slevin is going to share her perspective on the latest Iran news. Really looking forward to that. She has some great perspective and analysis there. Have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.